Uh,
Yep. Anyway, I'm in the process of getting this thing. Okay, I'm in the process of trying to get this thing to work. Yeah, so I'm just... Cool, cool. Yep. Yeah, I'm just about to literally... Yeah, I'm just about to literally start the... Oh, sorry. I'm just about to, start the kind of live stream audio, so... If... Yeah, so see you then. Oh, yeah, and so it's here, goodbye. Yes, yes, I will. I'll send those over. Yeah, I can hear you. Don't worry about it. Oh dear, not again. This is some fun. Well, apparently I didn't hit the limit by posting it in, the thing, but I did hit the limit by posting it here. Right, how about I do it in 2 sections? Like that. Yeah, what about Joplin? Oops. I did it again. Um, it's just my instinct just to send a message instead of putting the things around it. Anyway. Yeah. Discord is like, yes, I know this. Alright, here you go. Yeah.
This markdown.
But yeah, so let's see. Is the audio working? Let's see. I'm going to change audio device. Okay. Let's see. Does it work?
Wait. Does my mic sound better now?
I think so. Yep.
So that noise cancelling program just removes a little bit too much.
Probably, yes. I don't think you really need it, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, we are now actually live streaming. So hello everybody. So let me just check that you can actually hear me, and of course the Discord. So let me just check that. Yes. It appears it is working. Hello everybody. That's a good sign. But yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube and you think the audio levels are a bit messed up, or there's something slightly wrong with the stream, please do give your kind of feedback in the live chat so I can make the correct adjustments. But yeah, apart from that, and apart from me trying to remove unnecessary inputs from OBS, we'll get into the news. So yeah. But anyway, so we'll start the main show, let's say at 40, for 20 minutes too, just because that would make sense. And then I'll actually start the stream, and yeah. But yeah, so have you got
cool.
Yeah.
So the US sends Google to court.
Yeah, that's one of the stories we're covering today. Let's say interesting one. And yeah, I don't know where I put that in. Where did I put that in the notes again? I'm struggling to locate it myself.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh. And isn't it something to do with I forget what isn't it? It's a lawsuit about I forget what is it about again?
I can't see because I'm on the NY Times website and I just can't see what it's. It's just
it's an
a
antitrust
big banner.
case, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that Google controls 90% of the search engine market. I know. That it's a monopoly, essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, what story do you think we should lead with? Do you think we should lead with the phone news or the PC news? I would personally elect for the phone news because it's probably the more significant. And then we can
go with that then.
Yeah, we can also get all the Apple stuff out of the way at the start, so we can discuss other stuff not related to Apple. Because there is a lot of Apple news this week. So yeah. I'm also going to do myself a favour and turn on a light within my room because it is quite dark at current moment.
So, is my audio better now than before?
Yes, I would say so. But yes.
So that Linux package doesn't do good then.
Yeah. I would say that's a better. I don't know, but I think it does sound a bit better from my limited judgment.
I just used the built-in noise suppression in Discord now.
Yeah, that's probably a better bet. Anyway, let's actually get started. So I'll do the intro, and then we'll start covering the news. In fact, I'll set the status of this channel to podcast. So I'm going to just hit the record button in 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody, welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. Today is the 15th of September. It is a Friday, and today we're going to be covering a lot of Apple news, some news to do with Microsoft adding text recognition to the snipping tool, and One UI 6 allowing you to pick what Android apps you want to update. So yeah. But yeah, so going into the first story, it is the iPhone section. So of course, Apple have had their September event only a few days ago. I think it was the 12th, and at that event, they announced a few different products, including the new iPhone 15. And the first story we're going to be covering is the iPhone 15 actually having a USB-C port, which is 100% standard, which is actually different to what rumors were saying previously, with some leakers saying that the USB-C port on the iPhone would have the Made for iPhone certification program, whereas in reality they actually launched it without a Made for iPhone certification program, so you don't have to pay a licensing fee to make cables or accessories for this new iPhone, and it can just use standard USB-C stuff. So yeah, it's interesting to see Apple do this, because when I think about the potential antitrust trouble they could be in, and big tech companies in general have recently been in more antitrust trouble. Maybe this is a way of maybe this is a way of Apple gesturing that, they actually do want to be fair and want to promote open standards instead of just contributing to their walled garden. Potentially even just in some sort of PR effort to make people maybe think, well, Apple are no longer doing that Made for iPhone thing, so I guess, that's good. And yeah. But yeah, what do you think, Pigus?
Yeah, not much. It's just it's great that they do follow the standards.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what are your thoughts on whether it could just be Apple just trying to kind of potentially?
Yeah, I think they do maybe have some trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't imagine a company like Apple that, of course wants to make as much money as possible for their shareholders, just doing this just out of their own goodwill. Of course they were forced to use a USB-C port by the EU, but going all the way, even when the regulations didn't really require them to, is, it makes me suspicious of what potentially Apple could be trying to do here, because it was rumored by a lot of people that they would have Made for iPhone certification program with USB-C, just like they had it with Lightning. However, apparently those rumors were not true, given Apple's recent announcements. But yeah, I think that's it with that story. So yeah, why don't we move on to the next one? We're going into... Actually, maybe we should just cover all of the Apple announcement news first, and then we can... stuff to do with the new iPhone and the new stuff that Apple have announced, and then go back to the other iPhone stories. So iPhone, um, the iPhone 15 with eSIM only is exclusive right now to the US because the rest of the world has actually got a iPhone with a SIM card tray. Uh, so in most countries, they have actually shipped a physical dual SIM card tray, and instead of just relying on eSIM. So, of course, eSIM adoption hasn't really been that rapid globally, and the move over has been quite slow. But personally, I don't think the move to eSIM would be that great, given there's not really that much wrong with having a dedicated SIM card tray. And forcing people over to this new standard may just make some people kind of maybe a bit confused. Some older people may not get eSIM. And just keeping the option there to have a SIM card is definitely a good thing. But yeah, I don't know why they did it in the US. Pigus, do you have any idea about
No.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they've
Yeah.
decided to do this only in the US. Yeah. Yeah, it seems very maybe it's cuz adoption of eSIM is a bit more there's a bit more adoption over there. But of course in Europe, I mean, I know in the UK eSIM has not really been adopted much, and yeah, overall, it's like people are still relying on the dedicated physical SIM cards, even if they have the option to have an eSIM. But yeah, what's it like in Sweden with that, Pigus? Is there that many carriers using eSIM technology, or are most people still using physical SIM cards?
Yeah, I guess
What's
most
going on?
people just use physical SIM cards. I don't really hear many people talk about the eSIMs.
Yeah, and I have found that it's mainly higher end phones that have the
Mm.
eSIM. So a lot of people who just use mid-range or maybe low-end phones won't have that eSIM technology. Especially people who just aren't into technology, who don't buy just the latest phone. Um, and yeah, they won't have eSIM, so trying to move over to eSIM has been quite a slow process. But yeah, so moving on to the next story. Um, so, in fact, let me remove the Apple. I actually still had an Apple story from the previous podcast. So, let's just remove this section here. Not needed anymore. So, yeah. Why don't we cover the next story? So Apple have actually changed the material that they're using. Uh, Basically, they've substituted leather for fine woven material. So apparently, it is made of 68% post-consumer content and is overall more environmentally friendly than the previous leather products. And I don't really know what 68% post consumer content actually means, but apparently they're substituting all of the leather on their wristbands and all of the other products they have leather on for this new fine woven material. Pigus, do you have any clue what the 68% post-consumer content means?
No.
Okay.
Like,
Just checking it's just not me
it,
here going like, what is 68% post-consumer content? Um,
it's just like, yeah, reused consumer stuff. Stuff like aluminum cans and newspaper
oh.
that you place in your recycling bin for pickup.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I don't
so
know.
I guess it's like 68%. Couldn't they just say recycled materials from consumers or something? Anyway,
I don't know.
who knows? I'm not, I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm gonna move on to the next
Yeah.
story. It's kind of an interesting one. I mean, recently there has been the news to do with France banning the iPhone 12 over radiation concerns, and they
Oh.
they've actually Apple have actually rolled out a software update to address these concerns, and basically they're basically trying to get past France's ban of this old iPhone using a new software update. And previously, Apple has actually said that the French ban was unnecessary and it complied with radiation standards. And of course, the French regulator did say that it was within safe limits. However, it wasn't within the kind of acceptable limits that they set. So your iPhone 12 probably won't kill you, but but it might not be able to be sold in France unless this new update somehow rectifies things and they can continue selling this old iPhone in France. But yeah, it's really not good kind of PR having an iPhone getting banned by a country and getting questions kind of put into whether it's actually got more radiation emitting from it than is acceptable. Yeah, it's just not good for Apple, I don't feel.
So when did France then ban them? The
It
iPhone 12?
it was a very recent ban. Like, if I look it up on,
Um,
oh no, Google's like, why are you using a VPN? So I'm going to change to DuckDuckGo here because this is a new browser profile. So, oops, that's not what I meant to look up. That's a story. The next story. But yeah, so France iPhone ban. I think I only heard about it this week, so I think it's like very recent. Yeah, all the articles to do with it are from like 3 days ago. So
so they've
that's
basically just been okay with it until just now.
yeah, and then the
Yeah.
regulator was, hang on, this is above the limits that we've set, and then they just said ban now. Anyway,
Mm.
so yeah, so uh, that's that's interesting, I guess. But Belgium have actually been looking at this, and they've decided to review. The Belgian regulator have decided to review the iPhone 12's radiation risks, and Apple, of course, reject the findings to do with too much radiation and the radiation from the phone exceeding legal limits. However, the Belgian authorities are still looking into it, and their regulator is looking into whether they may impose restrictions on the iPhone 12 sale. So yeah. Oh yeah, already covered that story there. So I guess we're moving on to a bit of a different topic here. Well, it's still to do with iPhone. This is the last iPhone story, but it's a bit more to do with to do with the U.S. government. So the U.S. government have called the iPhone ban, the ban of iPhones in the Chinese state employment as an inappropriate retaliation. So China have banned the use of iPhones by government agencies. But the U.S. government has pushed back on this and said that it's inappropriate. So I guess that's the story. But I don't think there's really much to comment on, is there?
No.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on quickly, just because that was a kind of boring story, to be honest. Let's talk a bit of PC news. So the GeForce RTX 4070, the prices for the 4070 have fallen amid the new AMD Radeon GPU. So with the new 7800 XT being released, potentially the RTX 4070's price was dropped because of that. I mean, we can't be exactly sure, but they have dropped the price, so that's a good win for consumers. But yeah, so moving on. So Windows is bringing OCR text recognition to the Windows snipping tool. So, of course, when Microsoft announced that they were bringing AI to Windows, people wondered what ways Microsoft were going to do it. And apparently this is one of the ways. I mean, some people are hoping for, like, image recognition. Not image recognition. Some people are hoping for, like, AI-generated images and stuff and that kind of stuff. But it turns out it is actually optical character recognition. So this is a pretty cool feature if you want to recognize, if you want your computer to be able to kind of pick out words and convert them into text, so you don't have to manually write it all out. And if this works well, it will be a pretty cool feature for the snipping tool. Although there is already there is already software out there to do this otherwise. But yeah. Would you use
The question is it happening local or is the image just sent to the Microsoft servers?
And it appears this article does not answer. I'm guessing it's being done by the Microsoft servers.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's cool if you want that. Although having your image sent off to Microsoft might not be great.
No.
So privacy concerns there, but otherwise, great.
Yeah.
Right.
You need a bit of power in order to run analyzers for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so
GPU.
But yeah, so moving on to another Apple story. I am sorry to everybody if you thought that was the end of the Apple stories. I accidentally included the iOS 17 release in the Mac section. I know, silly me. And I did wonder, where's the iOS story gone? It's gone into this section, so we're gonna cover it, because it's quite interesting, some of the new features. So, there's now a new feature which I think is pretty cool, actually. It's called Live Voicemail, and it shows the voicemail that somebody is leaving right on your lock screen. so you can see it. And I'm guessing that means, I'm guessing, I don't know how that works from a standpoint of, how does it like, does it do kind of, speech to text or something, or is this some sort of text voicemail? I don't fully understand. And yeah. Do you know Pigus? Is this I'm
No,
guessing this is just speech text, isn't it?
I have no idea what it is.
Anyway, it
Um,
looks cool. It looks like a good feature, to be honest.
I don't. Did you put the link in the notes? I don't.
Yeah, it's in the macOS section. Because I have some very, very silly ways of formatting things. Anyway,
I don't think I have it there.
oh, okay. But yeah. But yeah, so the other feature is a new standby option for the iPhone, allowing you to put your iPhone into horizontal and connect it to a charger and actually see the time and incoming notifications and stuff like that. So that's a cool feature, maybe for bedside or something like that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so going on to the next story, macOS, the new version of macOS, continuing on with the big thing to do with Californian places in California. So they've been going with that for quite a while. People maybe have been wondering when will they run out of places to name after, but they continue to prove that they can name places. They can continue to name macOS versions after places in California. But yeah, maybe this naming scheme will go the way of the cat naming system of previous macOS versions. But who knows? That's a bit of a sidetrack, to be honest. So yeah, so when it comes to features, macOS, the latest version of macOS Samar. I honestly haven't heard anybody pronounce this one. Is it
Banama.
Sonama? Yeah, Sonama. Um, yeah, so it is going to launch on the 26th of September, so in exactly 10 days from when this is actually exactly 11 days from when this is being recorded. And yeah, some of the features include interactive desktop widgets, or basically macOS just remembering what Windows Vista did. um, it it does look a bit like Windows Vista, but yeah, but it looks a lot better in the sense of it looks a lot more interactive, and you can have them all over your screen. So that's cool. But yeah, yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, so other features include a Safari, Safari getting profiles. So you can now pick a profile, and you can use that to separate your different online activities. So that's a cool privacy feature that other browsers have already had, such as Firefox, Brave. But anyway, but a lot of browsers have
Yeah.
had this feature, but now it's coming to Safari. So that's a bit of catching up that Apple have done. And there's also now a game mode on macOS. So if you want to be gaming on your macOS system, of course the best OS for gaming for some people, I guess. But yeah. But yeah, so there's now a gaming mode on macOS, so maybe there'll be a bit more of a focus on gaming. But of course, historically, macOS hasn't really been great for gaming. But who knows? Maybe that will change. The future is unwritten. But yeah. Let's move on to the next stories, unless, Piggus, you have any thoughts?
No.
Okay. Let's continue on to the one Linux distro release I wanted to cover this week. So that is LMDE 6 Faya being receiving a beta release. So this this new version of Linux Mint has just been the beta for it has just been released. So it does bring some new features. I for some reason linked. Oh, here's the release notes. Should have linked those in the chat. So should have linked those in the notes, most likely. But oh well. Okay, so apparently they have fixed some known issues, including them now locking the root user by default. So you first need to give the root user a new password. So that's a good security measure. So that's cool. Yeah, do you see any other kind of features that you think are kind of interesting, Piggus? I mean, a lot of these on here, I kind of think are they're quite nominal updates, but they're helpful anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the link.
Do you?
I
I thought I linked it.
It linked something else, I think.
Let me see.
Oh, maybe there.
It's in the
Yeah, I
Linux.
found it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think.
Yes, you did. Oh yeah, just hit the release notes for LMDE 6. It's in green somewhere. Anyway, I think that's the article, but I've got the article pulled up here. So it's the One UI 6 now gives you the option with this new update to actually choose what apps you want to update, what system apps you want to update when you update your Samsung phone. So I think that's a pretty cool option for consumer choice. Of course, it does mean that certain apps will be more up to date and certain apps might be less up to date. So it will be interesting to see how how Samsung deals with that. But I think giving users more control over the Android device is always a good move. Yeah.
When will they not force you to sign in to Google when you open your phone the first time?
Yeah, so once that happens, I'm gonna say how great Google are. That you no longer have to install, you no longer have to sign into Google just to get them to stop prompting you forever that you need to sign into Google. But anyway,
Yeah.
well, you can use the Google Play Store without a Google account. That'd be great. Anyway, moving on to the next story here. So Google has had to pay, so they've been forced to pay California. Actually, no, they haven't been forced to pay. They're settling the case with California over locations of users being tracked without their consent. So the settlement is $93 million. So of course, chump change for Google, I would think. But it's still, more significant than nothing, and it does show that regulators can crack down on these privacy invasions, and that they can actually sue companies that are actually abusing people's personal data and collecting data when they haven't given consent. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, do you have any thoughts, Biggest? I mean, I know this is a bit of a kind of not really much money to make Google Pay, but yeah, it's definitely more than some
It's a
settlements.
start.
Yeah.
It's a start.
But yes, why don't we move on to the gaming news? I think one of the new games which I was going to cover today, Pigis knows a bit more about than me, given, he kind of brought it to my attention. But first, I'll talk about Hades 2 bringing an early access release in spring 2024. So Hades 2, that's what I meant to say. Hades 2 will be releasing in early access on Steam and the Epic Games Store in Q2 of 2024, somewhere between April and June of next year, according to this article from Polygon. So this is a new version of the Hades game. So yeah, I actually do not know much about this game, and this article does not give much on it. I mean, do you know much about this, Biggest?
No.
No. Okay. So yes,
I've
there's a new
just
release of
heard
it.
there was a new game.
There's a new
That's
release of
about
it.
it.
So jump for joy.
Yeah.
How great. But anyway, so why don't we cover a recently released game? Just why not, I think I could get a better link than this for it, instead of just linking to a Steam page. But the game Toss. Do you want to cover this, Pigis, or no, or what?
I can cover a little bit.
Okay. Yep. Over to you, I guess.
Yeah. The idea behind the game initially was to find a new way to handle movement in VR.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of like teleporting like you typically do in VR games, they came up with this sort of dragging yourself mechanism.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and around that, just built this game.
Oh, so
So
you kind of
it's more
drag
like
yourself, of course.
more like a concept over it.
Oh,
What
cool.
you could do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a Quest, and I played quite a few VR games, so this might be an interesting one. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the kind of things? Are you basically jumping around on like monkey bars or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're just dragging yourself and like across a void map.
Oh.
And yeah.
Yep.
It's fun.
Cool. So that's the gaming section done. Now let's talk about the miscellaneous. News for this week. The kind of spontaneous. Who knows what this news will be? Actually, you can see because it's up on the screen. But yes, here is the first story. So, of course, very varied in the content this week. But Verizon is trying to entice people to their 5G home internet with a new Apple Air, not Apple Air, Apple HomePod. So a free Apple HomePod for switching over. And you could also pick a $200 Verizon gift card instead. But of course, the HomePod is worth $300, so the $200 gift card isn't as good of a deal. However, if you don't, if you're already a customer of Verizon, it's a bit like kind of, you can't really do much about that. But if you're a US internet user and you pay for home internet, maybe if you have been thinking about checking out Verizon's 5G home internet, maybe this is the time to go for it, just because they've got that cool incentive. Although I don't know if you'd really want one of these if you're not an Apple customer. But the $200 is also a decent deal. But yeah, I imagine it's quite a lot for 5G home internet. I don't know the exact pricing. Okay, so it's $35 to $45. I don't think that's so bad. $45 required for the free HomePod. I would say that's fairly high, but not too bad. Yeah. But yeah, I've not got the best grip on US internet prices, so take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I guess it's very different depending on the country.
Yeah. I mean, I know the UK's internet kind of ISP landscape quite well, but I'm not so sure about America. So moving on to
Yeah,
the
it's kind of scattered.
yeah. So yeah, moving on to the next story. It's to do with the Irish Data Protection Commission. So we've moved from the US here to Ireland when it comes to stories. So the Irish watchdog have fined TikTok $345 million, not dollars, euros, for mishandling kids' data. So basically, TikTok have been trying to get into compliance for the next three. Basically, they couldn't. They've got to get into compliance in the next 3 months. But they have been fined for not being in compliance. So that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, TikTok has been under a lot of heat with regulators, maybe even more than other apps. But some of their data collection practices kind of maybe potentially wanton.
I
What do you
think
think?
people are just afraid of China.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they don't
Mm,
pay as much attention to all the data collection that
yeah,
US firms are doing. So I feel like
I
more
mean,
equal
they
attention
don't,
over both
you
would
know,
be good. Yeah, they don't.
other social media platforms doesn't really do list tracking, so
Yeah. And also, they
Mm.
definitely do. Yeah, of course they do track minors, but they're not getting in as much hot water about it. Yes.
But I mean, shouldn't the EU be the one responsible for finding them? Because it's
It's
GDPR.
it's a European Data Protection Supervisor. So apparently they stepped in, and basically they said that that TikTok broke the rules because it didn't properly take down accounts of under 13s. Um, so yeah, the EU Data Authority did get involved.
Yeah, but it was the Irish Data Protection Commission who fined them.
Yeah, I guess it's Irish law as well, so I guess they can fine them. I mean, if they do it in Ireland, if they commit the violation within Ireland, I'm guessing the data uh, protection regulator could just fine them. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh,
Three.
oh sorry.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money, to be fair. Especially just for the Irish watchdog to just be fining them that amount. Yes. Also, for the people in the US, that is $367 million. I don't have that in pounds, but that's quite a bit of cash. So, X has announced that they will now be considering, will now allow contributors to consider opposing viewpoints. So they've changed how the community notes feature works. So in the new design, according to TechCrunch, users will be able to review all of the notes that have been proposed as annotations to an X post, rather than just the one that they're currently reviewing. So basically, it will allow them to consider multiple notes before leaving their review, and could potentially help them change their mind on their review. So yeah, their rating. There we go. But yeah, what do you think about this update? Because do you think it's? Have you been
Yeah, I
using
don't
X
really
much?
know. No,
Okay.
I don't really know what it's about. What reviewing stuff.
Reviewing posts, like it's like community fact checking. I think like notes on what people think about it, and like opposing opinions. Excuse me. So yeah. Anyway, let's get through the last few stories here. I don't know why I didn't pull this into the Google news. It's kind of Google related. Google Chrome has added a material design to the Omnibar on not the Omnibar, the Omnibox on Android. So if you're using Google Chrome on Android and you update to the latest version 117, you will now have a Material U Omnibar. That is, of course, if you have Android 13. So if you don't have Android 13, you have an earlier version, you'll still just have the standard Omni box. However, if you have Material U, it will fit with your color scheme. So I guess that's a nice integration. Anyway, moving on. To the last. Oh, what is it?
No, I just closed a bunch of tabs.
Oh, that kind of
Ooh.
yes. But yeah, so Cisco has pulled their HyperFlex hyper converged infrastructure projects. Not it, yeah. Honestly, apparently this was a thing, but now if you're using that corporately, they will be shutting that down. They'll no longer be accepting orders for their software or hardware related to Hyperplex after March the 12th, 2024. So yeah, so if you're using that solution, then you'll have to migrate over. But yeah, so I think we should probably, before we wrap up the show, before we call it a day and we can continue doing whatever we're doing, we should probably cover the Odysee news, shouldn't we? I feel like that would be probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I need to get this this email on the screen. I mean, I've got the cropped version here, and I will screen share it, I guess. Let me try and do that. Right now, I'm just messing around with tiling stuff. So, 1 second, everybody. I'm just getting OBS configured correctly for this. We're just about to see the notes disappear, and see this new screenshot appear. So yeah. So here it is. Here it is. So Odysee has announced that they are actually being supported, and they have received money from a project called Arweave, which is apparently they're trying to use it to decentralize Odysee, as well as develop, and they're also working on new non-tokenized products. and they apparently say they want to push the notion of a fully decentralized media ecosystem forward. However, this is a lot of kind of corporate stuff, I guess, because they want to, of course, kind of make sure that people still kind of are backing them and still kind of believe in kind of Odysee and yeah. But you can interpret it however you want. I think it's them kind of moving a bit away from library, and I think it's probably just a reaction to the fact that library hasn't been doing that well, and that Library Inc. have, of course, folded, and things overall in the library sphere haven't been going too well. But yeah, what do you think, Pigus?
Mm.
Do you want to give any thoughts here, or do you pass on the giving thoughts about this specific topic?
No, I mean, it's interesting because they posted this on the platform as well,
Mm-hmm.
but they were quick to just delete it.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows
Just,
if this is still correct information, to be honest. I'm
I
guessing.
think they got a bit of backlash about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see
Uh,
why. I mean, kind of getting propped up by another project that barely anybody's heard of might
yeah,
not go too well for your thing. And yeah, it might not be great PR, but of course, Odyssey does need cash to stay alive, I guess. So to be honest, I can see why they've done it.
yeah, and I guess also Arweave have something to say about it since they have been the one paying the bills,
Yeah,
I guess.
but yeah.
Of course, they want to promote their products.
Hmm. But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to see what direction Odyssey goes in at this point. I mean, if they can integrate this and this is actually like some sort of legit thing, then that would be cool. However, I do have a healthy dose of skepticism whenever it comes to
Yeah.
stuff like this and these projects. However, I'm willing to be proven wrong, and it'll be absolute. If it's really great or whatever, you know, yeah, that'll be good. But who knows what will happen? So yeah. But yeah, so if this keeps Odyssey online, I guess it's a way of just
Yeah.
making ends meet. I guess, but yeah. Um, yeah. So why don't we just end the kind of stream now? Thank you guys for watching. Of course, you can head on over to the Discord server. Of course, that will be in the description. I'll add that afterwards when I release this as a video in video form. So, of course, the live stream doesn't currently have the link, but it is sandrolinux.com/Discord just to get the latest link to the Discord server. And, of course, you can come back the week after next to see the podcast. So it happens every week, apart from weeks where I can't do it. And it happens at 7 p.m. BST. So that's whatever time in your time zone. But yeah, you can look up a conversion for that. Anyway, would you like to sign off, Pigus, or is that
Yeah.
thing we're gonna be doing here?
Just yeah.
Anything you want to
You
plug?
can do it. No.
Okay. So, like, subscribe, and share. Okay. Yeah. So apart from that, see you guys next time. Goodbye.